not forget. Expect us.
This is a message to all supporters, a message to all freedom fighters, to all dissenters, to all forgotten, a call to all intellectuals, to all journalists, a call to all freethinkers, a call for intelligence. This is a call to all poets, a call to the strong and the weak, a call to all young people, to the wise, to the astucious. We want you to join us. We are on the streets of Tokyo, in the skyscrapers of New York, in the lanes of Paris, in the cellars of Munich, on Moscow's icy places, on the cobbled streets of Dublin. This is a call to all people, to the youth. Join us in the fight for freedom of information. Search for us, and you will find us. We are among you. We are you. Everyone you speak with can be a member of Anonymous. We have no leaders, only an orientation. We have no targets, only results. You cannot stop us because we are an idea. We cannot be eliminated because we are invisible. If you try to mock us, we will mock ourselves. If you try to slander us, we will accept the defamation. We are the king's jesters with daggers. We are the dancing bear which tears to pieces the laughing mob. We are Anonymous. We are a legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us, just as we expect you.
councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
And we're live. Welcome to Anonymous Bites Back. This will be a short episode, only like 2 hour episode. Um, quite quite a lot has happened this week. Um, where should I even start? Let me start with I'll be start with Op Nigeria. Yeah, that's been going on all week. Uh, I would like to.
Tyler, can you check if you're cutting off? By the way, I mean you're cutting off bad here, and Alamo here is
Oh,
freezing.
let me see. Let me see what's going on right here. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm talking too far from my mic. Um, yeah. So, oh, you're right. There is something weird with my connection. It keeps on bouncing back and forth. Yeah. So there was a massive anonymous and other groups that were not affiliated with anonymous that were doing a huge campaign on the wait. What's going on with my stuff? Is it still going on? Am I still cutting in and out? Hello?
Yeah, you're still cutting out real bad.
What the hell? Hold on 1 second. Can you hear me now? Better?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it must have been my mic. Yeah, so there was a massive operation going on Nigerian websites, various groups within Anonymous and other
Okay. It
groups.
seems you're sounding okay on the stream, is what they say, but in the chat here you aren't. It's weird, really weird.
Really?
Yeah, on my
Uh,
side it's yours.
Shit, I don't know what to do right now. Let me turn off this then. Turn off noise suppression. Can you hear me now?
The U.S. West.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Is that better?
Much better, I think.
Yeah, I think it was software related. So, I mean, some of the websites that were taken down were, I believe, Central Bank of Nigeria, the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Um, God, what else was done? Um, I believe a credit card was with posted somewhere online. Um, I don't know. I there was a lot of targets hit this week. I mean, uh, you guys know what's going on with the Nigeria stuff, right?
Well, something about Nigerian army coming after you.
Well, no, it was more than that. They had this like group that was kind of like in Nigeria that had free range to do whatever they kind of wanted to do, and they didn't have to identify themselves as police officers. And so basically, like these guys who weren't dressed like police officers would basically shake you up, take your money, rob you, beat you, do whatever, pretty much whatever they wanted to uh, in the aspect that they were trying to stop crime. But in essence, they became essentially the criminals. And I heard that when they were this group has been dissolved and reformed again with the same people in it about 3 times already. Um, Yesterday, I mean, the Nigerian army said that they enabled a cyber operation called Operation Crocodile, and were claiming that they weren't shooting anybody, and that the none of the websites were being hacked, when in fact they were, and they were shooting people in the streets. People were saying that they were shooting blanks. That's very contrary to what the reporting is saying, what people in the streets are saying. So,
Yeah, but then at some point they said like, yeah, Anonymous are like spreading disinfo, so they would start an operation to counter it called Operation Crocodile Mile, I think it's called.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so hundreds of targets were attacked. You see updates all day on like Twitter and other platforms, and a lot's being taken down. Yeah, of course. I mean, that's how it goes.
Well, I believe the Central Bank of Nigeria said it wasn't hacked, but I saw the screenshots where they were being posted online. It definitely looked like somebody was in on the backside. So, I don't know. I mean, I guess they're trying to protect their investments, but all of those websites were either hacked or DDoSed. So,
Yeah, this is just what happens when people yeah, get angry about something and they unite against something for they fight for a similar cause, right? And you see like you saw the outrage on social media, and you're like, we're not just talking about like anonymous. We're talking about so many people being angry about what these SARS were doing, right?
well,
You're,
it became worse than the criminals that they were trying to get off the streets. So,
Yeah, and it caused some murders too. I mean, you can check it out. You can look around on search engines, and you search for the SARS in Nigeria, and you see that there are numerous people that have been murdered by these thugs, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much people know about Nigeria. Even it is okay. Okay, so when you're like in the West or whatever, you think that about such countries as being like poverty and all these things. But Nigeria is a relatively rich country, and in that sense, it has the capabilities to treat its citizens well, relatively well. Uh, but they're not doing it, right?
No, 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 and then basically, the leaders are kind of in on it, from what I've heard, uh, from watching various reports, how this group has been dissolved and then reformed with the same people. It's almost like it's kind of like the way I would kind of like say it to our viewers. It's kind of like getting a group of mafia guys to be your police officers, and then they dissolve them and they say no, that they're not the mafia, they're the police. No, and the next year dissolve them again, they're not the police, they're special weapons and tactics. No, next week they're the crime defense. They dissolve them, hire the same guys and call them the crime defense force. So I think, yeah, that's basically what's been going on, and these guys are not good guys at all.
Yeah, no, and yeah, I hate to link it to like other regions or whatever, but I remember like how the People's Liberation Army, the Chinese army, was hiring these triads in Hong Kong, the Chinese triads, like these mobsters, and they were taking them from these bars and asking them to beat up protesters.
Yeah, yeah.
It was the first thing that came in mind when I was thinking about the situation.
Yeah, and in Lagos, there's also a lot of oil money out there. So I I don't know. That might be why the government is acting so resistant to the protests and has included even bringing out the army with guns out there. I guess they don't want their foreign investments to disappear, but that's not a reason to attack your own citizens.
No, of course not. No. Yeah, now you see the result of that, right? People are angry, and for the government to deny that there is even resistance, like digital resistance or resistance on the street, that's kind of a sad story, to be honest, because there is, and you can see it like on every social media, on every place. There is so much about it. People are really angry, and there's also a lot of traction to it. Like we uploaded a video about on this YouTube channel about the whole NSARS thing, and it instantly got like hundreds and hundreds of viewers, much more than average videos got. So
Yeah, it's
pretty
it's a hot topic. Um, I mean, there's a lot of evidence, especially some of the leaked data that was going on. There was bribery going on, and logs were being zeroed out to reflect zero payments going on for like years. Uh, I don't know. I've been across the world, and unfortunately, corruption, even at the highest level around the world, kind of exists everywhere.
Yeah. No, you're right. The thing is, much of this corruption happens in secret. They want to hide their crimes and they want to like be secretly corrupt and make some money and be powerful in secret. But in this case, it's publicly, right? They're abusing these people publicly, and they're just showing that they're in control. They can do anything they want. These SARS people.
Well, yeah, yeah. Even when I've been to Mexico, stuff like that has happened to me. I get shook down, and then they say I have drugs, and I have to pay $400 to get back into the United States, or they're gonna arrest me with stuff. So I mean, it happens like in every country, but you know, I don't know. Reforming SARS under a new name with the same people is not the solution. It really
So
isn't.
it's like that's like the Monsanto story. Just rename it to Bayer and you'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's so much shit about Monsanto, and you just rename it, and suddenly we're not criminals. Like,
I know. It seems this year, 2020 in general. It seems like I think people are realizing, how bad their governments are, around the world. Kyrgyzstan yesterday, there was Serbia, last a couple months ago, and then there was Belarus. Uh, France has been going on. Um, I don't know. Maybe people, we even have protests going on in Thailand, Hong Kong. People are wising up to what's really going on, and I don't know. It seems like 2020 has just been a shit show. But I mean, it's like decades of shit just piling up.
yeah, this is how it's just everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the first time the Catholic Church had been shut down globally ever. And they don't even say a peep. They don't seem concerned. It is strange, but it's definitely organized. You can tell these, I mean, you just don't have 150 governments or whatever it is all at the same time, doing all this COVID stuff and lockdowns. I mean, it's very organized.
Yeah. Will 2021 be a sequel to 2020? We don't know. It's not looking too great so far.
No, it's not.
Well, I think as the ramifications of all this shutdown kind of ripple through, you're floating a lot of free money out there and getting free checks, but when all that dries up, I think next year is going to be even worse.
Yeah. Yeah. I really don't know what's gonna happen on November 3rd or the 4th. Uh, I don't know. I'm just kind of expecting what happened the last time in was it 2015 or 2016? I don't remember. The day after the election, there was tons of huge protests. Um, I don't know. I kind of think that's what will happen this year too, as well. It's almost predictable. Uh, any of you guys aware of what's going on in Bolivia?
Uh,
Um, didn't they just have an election? I think they voted in some more socialists. I mean, there was some country that did that. Might have been Ecuador. I just seen an article the other day.
it's replacing more. Okay, putting in a more central government, and assume we will have freedom in a decade from now. Yeah. Sorry, guys, but there's like when you're dealing with like these oppressive corporate capitalists and these oppressive central government socialists, really isn't the right choice. That's my opinion. Yeah. Let's hope that they are happy with the results. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of bikers armed with guns in the middle of the desert, and they were. I was just kind of like shown it yesterday, but I wasn't too. I mean, I mean, it's Bolivia. I mean, but around here, you don't hear too much news about Bolivia. Uh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, it's historically like a fight in South America. It's been going on for a long time, right? You have somewhat like the more, yeah, let's say, I don't want to say right wing. They're considered right wing. The more capitalist forces, and they're like also like steered a lot from the West, who want influence over South America. And you have the more the so-called socialist forces that are not really like Che Guevara's original plan of bottom-up socialism, but it is more like a top-down thing where there is a small central government and there's this tiny elite. And like, I mean, Alamo, maybe you can explain it better. I mean,
Well, yeah, I mean, what you see as a citizen is the government that you're pretty much allowed by the corporate and more the banking people. I mean, it's al- it's almost like India in a way. You have like a caste system of the citizen, the people above that, and then the true leadership at the top. Uh, and there's different rules for each group. I mean, you see them in our, the little guy, here in America, the little guy gets shaken down hard. There's a mid-range, if you've got enough money for a good lawyer, well, there's, special privileges. But if you're at the top, like the Bidens and Clintons and the rest of this, I mean, you see the kind of corruption that's going on, and nobody gets in trouble. So there's like at least three different systems running in the country at the same time. That's my take on it.
yeah. I've seen it too with, let's say, Ecuador, Bolivia, um, Venezuela is a good example. Um, there's a lot of like, I'm sure that the people at the bottom, they have the right intentions, and it is great that they want it and they want to fight together for more wealth for the people who are in poverty. The fact is, centralized government uh, might not be the best option. Uh, this is all opinions. Um, I'm from a country where it's pretty socialist compared to other regions. Like we have somewhat free healthcare, free education, and these things. So I can see that, but there's also free capitalism in that sense. Anyone can start a business, and you don't have to give everything to the state that then divides whatever profits you make, and it has to be all voluntary, so to speak. Yeah. But it's very
Well,
difficult.
I think now in like if you want to call them the Latin countries uh, but really more the natives and indigenous, the communism and socialism fits their worldview and the way they do things more than the Western capitalist type system. They're a more communal uh, society, and with similar rules, uh, and they seem to have an affinity for that type of politics to the tune of like 70 or 80%. They consistently vote that way almost all the time.
Okay, we
That's
have
what
to.
Yeah, that's what's changing our politics here in America. That's why we've gone from harder, heavier percentage, Republican advantage to, you're pushing 50-50 now. It's just their politics. It's built in. The more friends from the South that come here, the more that happens.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just difficult to assess this like in a short time. I mean, okay, so you have the full free capitalist society, whereas in many Western societies it ends in that a few big corporations start controlling the market and they gain more influence outside of the market, eventually getting power over governments or parts of government. And you have different aspects of socialism as well, where you have okay, so you can do community-based, like off-grid communities, and you live in these communities together and you share things together, not necessarily giving all the fruits of your labor to the state that then divides it. But you also have a more statist form of socialism, centralized government, where where you just pretty much all work for the government, and that then decides what happens with it. And you have different different concepts, of course. And personally, as an anarchist, I don't believe in the whole statist thing, and that goes for both capitalist states and socialist states. But this is all opinions, and that is something very difficult. But I do know that in South America, there is decades and decades of corruption. There is cocaine trafficking to the north, and there's many parties involved on both sides and from all sides. So these kind of things, which is organized crime on the highest level, I think people should solve those issues internally, I guess.
Yeah, the one thing I did pick up from was that I guess this Morales, who was in charge last, kind of had a hand-picked successor, and that kind of action kind of tells you, it's there's corruption involved. Anytime you can pick your successor, it seems kind of obvious.
Yeah, but they're facing these issues, right? Because what is the alternative? The alternative is also some other group that is like obviously also like funded from an outside country. In this case, likely the USA, right? They're connected to the USA. So that's your alternative again. They want to put their own guy in power. Or woman. Yeah.
Yeah, we do mess with their politics a lot. I mean, we've gotten caught how many times doing that over 50
Oh yeah,
years.
Venezuela too. Yeah.
I mean, Chile, Argentina, man, all the Central American coups. I mean, we're always in it.
Argentina pretty much since the 1940s, right? Or am I wrong?
Oh no, before that, that goes back to the plantation era, Dole, the sugar trusts, pineapples. I mean, those various other crops too, but coffee.
Oh yeah.
East India
Yeah.
Tea Company. I mean, that takes it back even further. So
17th century. Yeah.
it's been going on a while, Mark. I mean, you know how we are. It's
Yeah, I was making an easy reference to all those Nazis fleeing there, right? I mean, like pretty much the West. Yeah.
So what did they call it before they were Nazis? Like, oh, you're a pirate. What was the thing? You're
We call them
vigilante.
buccaneers. They were pirates, and they were allowed to be pirates working for the royal families, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, illegal pirates. Not sure if many people know that, but these were pirates recruited by the crown, and they delivered a part of their profits to the crown, right? So they had the Dutch pirates would raid the English ships, and the profits they would make, a part they would deliver to the Dutch royal family, or Portuguese or Spanish. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a game being played long before we were here.
Yeah.
Long European history of how things were.
Yeah.
What about, but there are still pirates. What about that? I'm going to push it to another subject that time. What about John McAfee? What's up with him?
So yeah, John is still in prison. He's still tweeting. Uh, he is still fighting extradition to the United States over SEC crimes. Suppose there's a lot weird uh, policies going on. I've talked around it to a bunch of people and over the week about how legal is the charges. I mean, how relevant. I mean, the tax evasion. I mean, yeah, that's kind of big to the United States, but I've never seen anybody detained abroad for that. As for the SEC violations, I mean that's a weird one. So I guess because I know most of the stuff that he was doing wasn't in the United States. So, but I believe if the way it was explained to me, if these companies had registered businesses uh, in the United States, it wouldn't overstep the overreach of the SEC violation. But this is essentially what they're kind of making him out to be this massive criminal when the only thing that he's guilty of are what we call white collar crimes. They're the only person that the only person he's fucked over was the government regulatory bodies. Really, in essence, even in Wall Street, they do these weird, when especially when IPOs come out and then they go public. A lot of times these back end deals go on. People give kickbacks, and if nobody finds out about it, nobody does any prison. This happens every fucking day. I don't. I really don't think. I really don't think that John McAfee should be in prison. He should be out on bail. He should be able to get a legal team. I mean, he has been able to get a legal team, that's for sure. But he should be able to post bail, and there would be an appropriate way to handle this. He's not holding on to government leaks. He's not doing X, Y, and Z. He's essentially in a prison in Spain, awaiting extradition to the United States. He hasn't even been to court yet. He's just in jail. This has been going on for like 2 weeks now. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, they want him.
Go
They
ahead.
want him bad. It looks like they want him bad. I mean, if they're not giving him bail, that says a lot.
Yeah, that's the thing is like even if we're just dealing with IRS stuff and SEC violations, most guys end up doing like a year in prison and that's it, unless they were doing like bad ethics, like Martin Scorelli, who was basically robbing, people. He was essentially pumping up his medications that he had bought the exclusive rights and rebranded it, and we're charging $700 to $800 for a month's prescription of a medication for HIV and terminal cancer patients that would only cost them out of pocket $25. That's something that you should probably go to prison. But what they're accusing John of is utterly ridiculous, I think. And not only that, he has dual citizenship. He's not only a citizen of the United States, he's also a citizen of the United Kingdom. So that's also a weird card that could be played in court as well. I know you can denounce your citizenship, but you have to pay the government. I think it's $200 and a shitload of paperwork to denounce your citizenship. I don't know. Janice seems to be holding up pretty well, at least online. But honestly, like I do see him walking away from this, but he's so old at this point that giving anybody a 10-year sentence at his age is basically a life sentence.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
He's not that young anymore. It is. Yeah, it could be a life sentence for him.
It could be a life sentence for him. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I just deal. Maybe I just think that what he's doing is not such a big deal. I guess people who do the straight and narrow on the white collar stuff would say he's an absolute criminal for doing this stuff. But behind the scene, every hedge fund manager has done these back end deals.
Yeah, and that is the thing, and that this is all interpretation. Like, if you consider this financial crime enough to give him a life sentence, then why aren't all these Wall Street bankers in jail?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they did fractional banking, and they still do fractional banking. That has been going on since 1913 or something. And even before that, there was already that concept. But the fractional banking, they literally speculate with the money you put on the bank, and they only keep like tiny reserves. But if you all start taking it off, they'll go bankrupt in a day. The ATMs will be empty. And yeah, I mean, in 2008, we saw this kind of stuff happening. Everything went bankrupt, and we had to bail them out with tax money. And yeah, but
Well,
are we bailing out? Go
they're
ahead.
doing it again here. I mean, you're running trillion a month deficits since June. It's incredible. They're not even really showing you the real numbers that are going on. Float this, phony economy.
Oh yeah, wait till the derivatives market crashes down. That's going to happen. It has like a $600 trillion dollar market. So yeah, it's going to end everything.
Yeah, you've heard my analogy on fractional reserve banking, right? And why it's bad.
Yeah, but you can repeat it again for our listeners. I mean,
Yeah, so basically a bank can loan out 2/3 more money than it actually has in the bank. And the real problem comes in if you think about it like musical chairs, right? If all the money that was loaned out from the Fed were called in, there would be it's what you called it's a game of musical chairs with debt, and there keeps on being more chairs without people in it. So basically it's like a revolving door of debt, and it doesn't actually help the economy. It actually hurts the economy in the long run. Um,
yeah, and the only way they can keep it alive still is if the economy keeps growing and growing, because then you need more money. There needs to be more money in circulation, so you can keep printing. But as soon as the economy stops growing, which we're facing now with COVID and these things, uh, you're going to be screwed.
yeah.
Yeah, you have to constantly increase the money supply, and that's the only way the system keeps running. Even though you're devaluating the money constantly, you're introducing because yeah, you have to pay more money. You have to pay back more money than there is, so you have to print more, and uh, it needs an endless supply. Yeah.
Well, they eliminated reserves required. It went to 0% here a few months ago when all this BS started. So I mean, it's not even fractional reserve banking anymore. It's total
Now,
fictional fiat cash.
yeah, but you can see the desperation in the minds of also like the U.S. Establishment, and that is the fact that they start conquering half the world for resources and real estate. Because you have a collapsing currency, so you start conquering other countries' resources to use as collateral to borrow more, or to use as trade to against your failing currency, because you have a collapsing currency. You're just collecting gold and oil and lithium all over the world. So you need an endless military campaign, and that is what goes on constantly. You're gathering the collateral, and that's how you borrow more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's how it works. If you go to a bank and you have collateral, you have like a house to trade in or something, you can easily get a loan. So, or if you have like gold bars or whatever, you have like 100K in gold bars, and you're like, I earn a lot of money, I have gold bars, it's my collateral, right? I want to borrow some money, like 100K extra, right? This is my collateral. So that is what these establishment guys do. At World Bank, big banks. And then you see Deutsche Bank or other banks jumping in and loaning them the money. And it's good real estate. I mean, it's now cheap real estate in Iraq that if you develop it around these rivers in Iraq, if you develop it, you can build these nice condos, these nice villas, and that will be very valuable real estate to trade in for new money.
Yeah.
Just as soon as the shooting stops.
Yeah. Yeah, but as long as the shooting happens, you can still buy the oil for cheap. Because when there's shooting going on, the stuff you buy in the country is cheap, of course. Like there has to be shooting. If there is no more shooting, it's going to be more expensive, established businesses and stuff. Like this is such a charade, seriously.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, if you know these things, it's shocking actually if you think about it. But,
Yeah, the only problem with the economics on this one, like say us going into Iraq, is you have known reserves in Iraq for all the oil, and we've spent more than there is oil in the ground. So I honestly think we're making some serious mistakes. I mean, if that's the thinking and that's why they do these things, then they've really screwed it up. Or there's something else going on, some kind of 4D chess or some nonsense, excuse for why they has to be this way.
in this case, you're assuming they have the state's interest in mind, right? But what if it's a tiny
Oh.
elite that profits from it, and they don't really care what the state is doing?
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, if it costs me money but they win, who gives a shit, right?
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, it is so bad. These people are laughing behind the scenes, and like I was posting on Twitter about these election debates, and there was a posting like, yeah, jump on it. Like this, the people behind the scene will decide anyway, and yeah, Biden or Trump, whatever, whoever is going to win, it's going to be the same story. There's going to be countries being bombed. There's going to be a lot of resources stolen and collapsing economy, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look who was getting the crowds before. I mean, it was Bernie Sanders. And then they tell you Joe Biden won. I mean, it's just.
Yeah. Joe Biden. Yeah, he beat you.
He can't get like 10 people to come to his press conferences. And then he's so whacked out. It's just like, I can't believe the Democrat Party even is trying to candidate. It's beyond scraping the bottom of the barrel on this time around. It's like the worst election ever.
I thought the last election was pretty bad.
Well, I'm honestly, the way things turned out. I mean, would Hillary Clinton have really been any worse? I mean,
Yeah,
I'm just not seeing it anymore.
yeah, me either. Yeah,
So fucked up.
remember she wanted to go to war though. I remember that she wanted to go to war with the Middle East again. We didn't need to go to war with the Middle East. Really, I mean, I mean, every time America says they're going to war, they're going to liberate them. They leave shit worse than it was before, and at what cost? American lives and civilian lives and unnecessary deaths for what? It just every time. I don't know. It hasn't been a good strategy for a long time, and I don't know how long it's going to take. Humanity to realize that wars really don't solve anything in the long run. Either you'll get fucked over 50, 100 years from now, but it won't be what your enemies will always remember what you did to them. You know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Did you hear about this shit with the Phantom Tech phone? No, you didn't hear. Did anybody hear about this?
Phantom what?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I picked this one off of Vice. The same guy that was interviewing, some anons, that were dressing up with the masks and shit. For the guy does the tech thing for Vice.
Yeah, last year he claimed that Anonymous was dead, I think. With,
Yeah.
he had this kid on saying Anonymous was dead, and he had that was like a mask with the price card still on it, price tag.
So yeah, so apparently this guy has been working on this story for a while. I wasn't even aware of what's going on. So in 2009, there was this tech guru who launched a phone in the early 2000s, late 2009, somewhere 2010, and it was a registered company in Canada, and he was basically modding BlackBerry phones so that it was untraceable by and untappable by any type of government agency or monitoring agencies. I'm not sure what kind of technology they were using underneath it. I wasn't sure if it was encryption or just using something else altogether. But here's what happened. So the guy goes on a trip to Las Vegas. They had leaked conversations where they overheard the owner and CEO saying the only people that use my phones are narcos and drug dealers and high tech enthusiasts. So that was enough for the FBI to put the heat on him. So when he thought he was going to go meet somebody in Las Vegas, they handcuffed him and then interrogated him in a hotel, right? So somehow, this is the funny part. This is the fucking funny part. Somehow the guys that were interrogating him left or had fallen asleep. The guy walks out of the hotel room and leaves to Canada, and he actually gets away.
That's classic.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, you got to be ready.
Yeah, there's
Take advantage.
there's other versions of these kind of phones going around. I saw it on Unbox Therapy. There are these phones that are going for approximately $25,000. I don't know what exactly they're using to be untraceable or undetectable, or whether it's just some super form of encryption. I do know that it has a button on the side of that particular model where it goes from normal, then it goes to like this. It goes to what they call silent mode, and you can only call other people that have that particular phone. Yeah, but at the price tag of $25,000, I'm not sure if that's exactly worth your privacy.
Okay, and if these phones were like 100% secure, right?
Yeah, but they just were the guy was just modding Blackberries. I don't know exactly what he was doing to them.
Is that guy, the Vincent Ramos guy, or
Yeah, Vincent Ramos. Yeah.
okay? They say that it's uncrackable. Yeah. Okay, okay. Well, it's insane to be honest. Servers in Panama and Hong Kong.
Yeah.
They say it was being used by like drug cartels, right?
Yeah.
Cocaine, heroin, and meth.
Yeah. That was kind of what got the FBI on his ass. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, remember the guy who was running LavaBit, that was using like the highest form of encryption for emails, but then
Yeah.
Edward Snowden started using it, and then the FBI said, you need to hand over the server logs and all the server data to us, and the guy says, nope, fuck you. He nukes all the servers and dissolves his company the next day.
Yeah. He shut it down entirely. It was like in 2013. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You're right. You're right.
Well, when the FBI wants to shake down somebody, they make it seem like that talking to them is their only solution. I mean, the fact that the guy was making phones that were untraceable is not enough to really is. I don't know. It's an overreach of the law saying that he is responsible for drug dealers or whatever buying him. No, that's just the crowd that attracted attention to it. I mean, you could have super privacy data enthusiasts that could be buying the phones, but I don't know. I fail to see the real crime that the fact that he knew that his buyers were that is not really any of his problem, to be honest.
No. Now, unless he says it like when he sells it, right? And he says like, yeah, I'd use it, please, for selling cocaine and stuff. He probably doesn't do that. So can use encrypted phones for a lot of different reasons, and many of these reasons are very legit. I mean, yeah. You can live in countries where it's not safe to talk about certain things, or you can be a journalist communicating about something you will publish that is not healthy for a government, or be an activist doing things. So there's a lot of legitimate reasons. Or maybe you buy it because you got the money and you just don't want people snooping in on your conversations. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess someone in the chat is saying that they saw the phone a year ago go for $1,200, and that Hillary had a whole stack of them.
I don't believe that. She did use her personal computer for emailing.
They were not sat phones. Okay. Oh well. Yeah. Next on the list, I guess. I just want to cover this really quick. I don't know. I kind of wish AK was here, but so PayPal adopted crypto on their platform, right? Everybody's like, "Yay! Wow! Finally, we can use PayPal for we can use PayPal and pay with crypto." Nope. So what they did is they announced that you were allowed to buy crypto on the platform, but it's just like another it's another sham, as other platforms have gotten into crypto where you cannot use it as a payment system. You can only invest. Why? Why? I really don't understand the whole concept. They said that in a future release they would allow people to pay with crypto, but when they open the service, they don't want anybody to want it to leave the PayPal platform. I don't know, that just says a lot of red flags for me right there.
Well, that's like hardcore
Yeah.
fiat. I mean, that's worse than our fiat currency. I mean, it's a total lockdown. And if they get tired of you, or they just want to hijack you and steal your money, they just get rid of you and tell you to get lost and take your money.
Yeah, there's been a couple other platforms that did that. One of the old wallets that they used to do reform back in, it was like 2013, 2014, when I was still using obscure platforms for buying Bitcoin. When they reformulate a couple of them, when they reformed, when KYC became an issue, the they weren't allowing, some of them weren't allowing people to take the cryptocurrency off of the platforms and to pay with. I think Robinhood still does it. I think you can buy crypto in Robinhood, but you can't make it go anywhere else. It was not. I mean, most of these coins, a lot of people are thinking these are investments, but no, you're essentially investing in a digital currency, something that you should be able to pay and buy goods with. Well, some platforms have not seen it that way, and is really kind of defeating the purpose. Yes, I'm not going to lie. If you're buying daily goods with crypto, you're dealing with a highly volatile uh, a highly volatile what do you call it, coin or currency. At one, you can have like 7,000 in Bitcoin or whatever. By the time you go to the store, is only worth half that. I mean, it does happen.
Things like such systems like PayPal are only like stabilizing the fiat again, because you can like invest in crypto, make some profit with it, but you'll always be forced to exchange it into fiat again. So there's no money disappearing from the fiat system. You're not withdrawing from Bitcoin ATMs or something. You're just pushing it back into PayPal, and will be used to just keep the fiat system running, to buy stuff on eBay or something.
I mean, unless you're buying with the crypto cards. I tried getting my hands on some, but every time I'm always told that I'm not in the right country to get it. So I was like, okay, whatever. Uh,
Yeah, I saw something similar with this new like a fintech, a bank, Revolut in the UK. You can invest in crypto too. That's what they promote, like invest in crypto and everything. We allow cryptocurrencies. Yeah, you can invest in it, and then you can exchange it again to your bank account into dollars or euros, right?
yeah,
Yeah, so just an investment thing, same as you can invest in stocks. So you're forcing people to always exchange back into fiat, meaning you're keeping the fiat system just alive, so to speak. You're like leeching off or you're parasiting on the crypto community, I guess.
yeah. I also noticed this week. I don't know if a lot of people have anything in Monero. So I tried to move the last of my cryptocurrency off of a platform, and I didn't realize there was a hard fork on Monero, and none of my transactions were going anywhere. So then I just asked around, like what the fuck should I do? I can't get it off the platform. The Monero, I guess the Monero network was like overloaded with all these people trying to get it off or moving their money wherever. So I was forced to like transfer it into like another currency. I didn't realize this was going on until I had looked on Twitter. I guess the Monero network is super overloaded right now.
I love Monero, by the way. It's much more private.
Yeah, I like it too, but now that the IRS have cracked it, uh, I don't know if it's very private anymore. Now they can trace what the fuck you were spending it on. You know?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that cost them $650,000 in bounty money to crack it.
yeah. Okay, well, you're talking about billions, a market of billions. It was, I think, the Monero market was 3 billion or something at some point, maybe more even. It was a top 10 currency at some point,
Yeah,
cryptocurrency.
yeah. I don't see Monero disappearing anytime soon. I really don't. I mean, it gets popular and then it doesn't, and it's popular and then it's not. Lightning Network has vulnerabilities. Yeah, I've heard that as well. Did anybody watch the 60-minute shit show? Or the talk that's been going around it on on Twitter?
Yeah, we have to mention Buttsack, I guess.
But sick. Yeah, I'm not even
Yeah,
sure
they
what
were-
the fuck is that.
Yeah, no, they were in our chat already, like promoting Buttsack. Yeah, yeah, that's what has to do with it. They're like doing like a raid on Twitter, raiding the presidential elections with hashtag Buttsack. So yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that was around. I thought it was like some sort of meme. I was like, wait, I'm like the last one to figure out. I was like, what, butt sex? What? Or butt sack? What? I wasn't sure what was going on there.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny. They want to rate it. Yeah, it's like I'm not really from the USA, and if I was from the US, I wouldn't even care about these elections either. This is, that's something you guys can talk about. I don't know. Like, me, it is all the same establishment all the fucking time. So
Well, apparently the interview went so poorly with Trump that he felt it was his diligence to critique it and tell people that he was having a bias and this and that. So I guess Trump didn't abide by the agreement that they had and had posted a 37-minute video of the interview, which he walked off on, and CBS is or 60 Minutes was like, "What the fuck? You kind of just released like half the episode." So
yeah, it's funny. I'm just looking at all these tweets, like a gazillion tweets. People ask why it is trending. Not sure if they hit trends yet.
what? What's trending?
Yeah, I know that they're trying to make it trending, but it's like, I see, there's also some stuff about Jim Watkins again. Do you want to talk
Really?
about that? Or?
What's going on with Jim Watkins now?
Okay, we have Aubrey Cottle saying Anonymous and Buttsack have the smoking gun that Jim Watkins was brazenly complicit in hosting child pornography on a site called Preteens. QAnon's empire is controlled by a CP profiting sex pervert. It's over for you, Jim.
Yeah, you know. Oh yeah, Jim Watkins, you know, I've known for quite a while that Jim has been owning pornography sites since the mid 90s. And in fact, he was hosting a porn site while it was called like Hot Asian Girls or something.com. I think if you look at the ICANN registrar, his name he still owns it. I don't think there's anything on it. But yeah, Jim has been involved in pornography sites for quite some time. It's just, I don't understand why it's such a surprise to people at this point. That, you know, the guy who's basically managing Akon or his son, and that he has these weird ties to porn. You know.
There's also a secret going around. I won't say where it came from, but that Mr. Jim Watkins has a fixation for prostitutes.
Yeah. I caught him about a month ago, or snooping on him, and apparently he was praising this Torah network, right? And he put this Tor 3 network, whatever the fuck it's called, or I think it's called Tiger Network, and it's just a bunch. I'm pretty sure it's owned by Jim. I can't prove it. So there was a video of Jim doing yoga with women when he said yoga time. I mean, the girls didn't look like they were that old, but they didn't look like they, it was kind of like disturbing that, somebody would start streaming this shit, especially with like his past. I mean, he's just not making a good case for himself, to be honest.
Yeah, it's more just like, fuck it. I might as well go out in a ball of fire.
I don't know. I don't even think they have Loki Net up. I mean, they've been saying that with their Project Odin that they were going to launch Loki Net. It would literally take them, I don't know, just to get all the kinks marked out, maybe a week, and it's taken them 2 years to even get this far. I've had my suspicions about their skill sets and the guys who are running it, because their website is.
Oh, wait, they're not running LokiNet, are they?
That's what Project Odin is.
So it's their project?
No, it's not their project. It was run by some.
I'm just clarifying, man. That's all.
No. It's run by. It was designed by some Australian kid. So basically, it does use Tor in the background, and these would be .loki addresses. But to set up a mirror of their site, maybe take them, I think, like a day, maybe a week with their skill sets, but it's taken 2 years, and they're still saying that they're getting the new treehouse on LokiNet, and it's still not there. So the thing that I don't understand is, so what happens to QAnon if Trump doesn't win?
Civil War. Hey, man, no, like, just want to know that too, like. Seriously, those cues, man, they can be so manipulated easily. All you got to do is just say, "It's time to fight patriots."
Now, what you tell them is, get in the boxcar because Q is at the camp, and they'll probably get in.
Q is at the
I think
camp.
they'll do it
I don't know.
as long as they can meet Q in person.
You know what I find is even much weirder about QAnon followers. When I was doing recon on them, not a lot of them actually go onto the actual site. You know that?
Well, they do. They do like the QMap.pub and shit.
But they don't actually go to. They're not on Acon. They're just going to these websites that are going on for the Q alerts.
Probably because if they realized what was on the website, they would be like, "Oh, this is fake."
Well, not only that, the site is riddled with white supremacy.
Yeah.
And porn.
Exactly why I said they would realize it's fake.
Yeah. Why would a guy with super elite clearance be posting on a site that's affiliated with white supremacy and pornography? Come on, I mean, don't you think some random dead drop box or someplace else, some a little more secure.
I mean, don't you think you would just hack the fucking media? All of a sudden, everything would just be playing like secret classified videos.
Well, I mean, I think if they step back
Times Square,
look
bro.
at what they were believing, it's just like, wait a minute, you're not going to believe your government, you're not going to believe mainstream media, but you're going to believe some guy with a capital letter Q that fucks around on the internet. I mean, that doesn't even make sense.
And they believe it's all.
I mean, that's your source, this Q guy.
Yeah, they believe the satanic pedophiles are running the country when, in fact, I don't know. I guess the Satanism really has an effect on them because they're definitely under some weird fucking spell. Every time I talk to a fucking QAnon, it's like talking to a crazy person.
They're partially right that the elites, some of them, not all of them, but some of them are involved in some pretty fucking weird shit. And it does go into like Satanism and stuff like that from like the Franklin cover-up. But that's the thing, like with this whole Q thing, man, like it literally delegitimizes real fucking information. It's just like a spin. And it's dangerous because it's like real history is being now mocked as being crazy or insane or whatever. I'm surprised they haven't like tried to go after like the whole MK Ultra thing and try to spin that as it never happened, and you know that's all crazy shit too. But the thing is, like the CIA from like the 1950s to the 1990s and into the 2000s, they've done various fucked up shit. That's a fact. And the mainstream media kind of just pushes it aside as like, oh, well, you know, the CIA did this, this, and this, but there's never been any reforms, but just trust us, they're good now.
Yeah, I don't know. It's getting to the point where even my dad was asking me about it. He goes, "What the hell is QAnon?" I'm like, don't even ask. It would.
Well, I mean, it really is amazing. I mean, it just shows you what people are willing to believe. I mean, and they will tend towards that versus, and most of that information is out there anyway. It's all like regurgitated Alex Jones stuff, you know, that was out there 10, 15 years ago. It's like they're just now finding it out. But because it comes from a capital letter Q, that's okay, man. That's solid, you know.
That's the thing. Like you just said, though, it's not all like Alex Jones information either. It's a mix of real information and disinformation. Like whoever's running this thing has a background in intelligence because of the way that it's being used. It's being used to push disinformation with real information and confuse the public. It's absolutely without a doubt. I don't know if it's Flynn's group. I know that allegedly they had access to it sometime early on when it was on 4chan with Microchip, 0 Hour 1, and all of them who were involved with it. But you know, I don't know who has access to it now, but whoever has access to it, they know what they're doing. They're using religion, spinning real conspiracies into misinformation. You know, like they know what they're doing. They're like kind of drawing in the masses, like you said, Alamo, like with real information. And then adding disinformation into it, but yeah, they're like regurgitating old information, like constantly.
And how about where's all these 400,000 sealed indictments and I mean they were pushing that for years. Where is it? Where's all that shit?
That was all undocumented immigrants and fucking connected to. What is it? What's I can't remember it off the top of my head now. What's that group from that criminal group from Mexico? I can't remember.
MS-13?
MS-13, yeah. I couldn't remember it. Thank you. Yeah, that's all indictments that were connected to them, and maybe NXIVM. And what? What'd you say, Tyler?
I heard something there, but I didn't know who it was coming from.
Yeah, it came from him, but I didn't know what he said. That's why I stopped talking. I thought he wanted to speak, but I guess not. But yeah, like those indictments, you know, that was all like, those were legitimate indictments. I'm not saying they weren't, but again, spinning real information with fake information. They combined those indictments and said, oh, they're rebuilding Guantanamo. Oh, that must mean they're rebuilding Guantanamo for all the politicians.